Hi guys, welcome to our second science lesson. Last time we learned that fossils are formed when something dies and then they are covered with sediment. We're going to learn more about that process today by reading a book called How Does a Bone Become a Fossil? Since this is a nonfiction text, we can use some of our text band strategies from earlier in the year. So today I'll be showing you how we can find the main idea of a text by looking at text structure. So we have two steps. First, we're going to find the text structure, and second, we're going to use that to write the main idea. Remember, there are 5 different text structures: claim and reasons, chronological, also called sequence, problem solution, cause and effect, and compare and contrast. So as we read today, we're going to look for text structure and main idea. Now, in this book, we're going to be reading about a fish called Eusthenopteran. And it was a fish that was alive millions of years ago. It's now extinct, but we know that it was alive before because we have found these fossils. We're going to start on this page called Two Kinds of Fossil. I'm making a prediction that this section will be in compare and contrast because it's telling me about 2 kinds. But let's read and find out. Scientists study fossils to find out how creatures lived long ago. They also find out how life on Earth has changed over time. Body fossils are the remains of plants, animals, and other creatures that were once alive. Dinosaur bones, shark teeth, and seashells are all body fossils. So are petrified trees, which are trees that have turned to stone, and leaf imprints. These fossils show us what life was like millions of years ago. Here we have a photo of shark teeth, and the caption tells us that fossilized shark teeth show us that sharks have lived in Earth's oceans for millions of years. Oh, and then we have trace fossils. So these are the 2 fossils they're telling us about. One is a body fossil and one is a trace fossil. So trace fossils tell us something about how ancient creatures lived. Dinosaur footprints, coprolites, which this is just dinosaur poop, right, animal droppings, and vomit are all trace fossils. So are tooth marks and stomach stones, unhatched eggs, and ancient animal homes. These fossils help us understand how ancient creatures moved, what they ate, and how they raised their young. Many scientists study body fossils and trace fossils together. This gives them the clearest picture of the ancient world. We have another photo up here of dinosaur footprints, and the caption tells us that a scientist examines part of the world's longest dinosaur trackway. It's located in Bolivia, a country in South America. Okay guys, we were right. This section is compare and contrast. They're telling us what's similar and different between body fossils and trace fossils. So let me go to my tool and see how I can use that to help me find the main idea. So it says for compare and contrast, I can write one way they're similar and one way they're different, using this sentence frame. Blank and blank are similar because, but different because. Alright, I'm going to use that to write my main idea. I'm going to say that body fossils and trace fossils are similar because, well, I noticed in the text that both of these fossils help us learn about the past. So that's what I'll write for the similarity. They both teach us about the past, while body fossils are from living things, and trace fossils tell us about living things. That's the main difference. Okay, so we were able to find the text structure and use that to write a main idea. I'm going to show you how to do this one more time on another page. And this one is called Buried Treasure. So again, first we're going to find the text structure, then the main idea. While Eusthenopteran skeletons were turning into fossils, layers of mud and sand piled up on top of the bones. The weight of the top layers pushed down on the lower layers. And here we have a diagram of that fish dying and then getting covered in layers of sediment, just like we learned in the last lesson. Over millions of years, this fish's skeleton becomes a fossil. If the fossil is exposed, people can dig it up and study it. Over time, the mud and sand here stuck together. Then they hardened to form rock. The fish fossils were trapped deep underground. As more time passed, over time, and as more time passed is giving me a clue that this might be chronological order. Let's keep reading and see though. As more time passed, the land around the fossils changed. An earthquake may have shifted the land and brought some fossils to the surface. Wind or water could have slowly eroded or worn away the rock above other fossils. After millions of years, parts of fish fossils stuck out of the ground. People noticed Eusthenopteran fossils and dug them up. Then scientists studied the fossils to find out when Eusthenopteran lived and how it survived. Oh, and this is showing me, this is part of this other diagram here, showing me how over time these rock layers can shift, and that's how a fossil can resurface. What's in a name? Scientists who study fossils are called paleontologists. The word paleontologist comes from a Greek word that means those who study ancient things. The word fossil comes from a Latin word that means dug up. Okay guys, I think we were right that this is chronological order. It's telling me how a fish turns into a fossil, and it's giving me steps in order. So let me look at the steps here. First, the animal has to die. That's the first thing. Second, it gets buried by mud and sand. Then, number 3, mud and sand sticks together. Number 4, it hardens to form rock. The 5th step is, number 5, an earthquake may have shifted the land and brought some fossils to the surface, or it could have eroded. But either way, step 5 is the fossils coming out of the ground. Then, number 6, people noticed Eusthenopteran fossils and dug them up to study them. Alright, so we have 6 steps here for how an animal gets fossilized and then found. So let me look at my tool and see how I can use this to find the main idea. It says for chronological order, we're going to write what the text is showing you how to do, and we can use this sentence from this part is showing us how. Okay, so I'm going to write here chronological order, also called sequence, and we can say this part is showing us how fossils form and then are discovered by people. Okay, so today we learned a little bit more about fossils and we used the text structure to find the main idea. Your job is to read the rest of this book, which I've scanned for you and should be on your Google Classrooms, and you're going to do the same thing. Use text structure to find main ideas. Stay tuned for our next lesson where we're going to take a field trip